all, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and a new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Today, we've come again to have a discussion on what is happening in Nigeria. This evening, we just got news that is coming out that the New York Times newspaper reports on the state of the Nigerian economy, where hunger and poverty has increased. And the reaction of His Excellency P2B on tweet, which is going viral currently, is really trending, and that we are going to bring. And we'll also bring you the reports that is chronicle with the economic situation under the Tinubu's 15-month-old government, which vividly described how Delhi families struggle to feed and all those things. With all of this, instead of the government to allow the bitter truth assertion, they decided to respond by shifting the blame once again, as usual. Bayo Onanuga, in his response for the government, claimed that the Tinubu's government inherited the hardship from previous government. But what Onanuga failed to tell New York Times is that his boss, Chief Bola Tinubu, had promised to continue from where former President Muhammadu Buhari has left up. As we know, upon assumption in 2023, Tinubu told Nigerians that his administration would continue from where Buhari had stopped, meaning the corruption, incompetence, and the poverty Buhari's government inflicted on Nigerian citizens are what Tinubu will continue with. And Onanuga's reply to New York Times is not only infertile, but an abuse of the sensibilities of Nigerians who heard Tinubu's promise to continue from the inglorious legacies of the past governments of Buhari, who destroyed every fabric of the Nigerian society. With me to have this very discussion is Dons and also Prince Otto, and also other Obedients who are on Zoom at this very hour.
A very warm welcome, and thank you for joining us on this live broadcast.
Obedience, you're welcome.
All right, wherever you're joining us, please do like, share, subscribe to the channel as a token for the Obedience. We that are in the studio needs an encouragement from all well-meaning Nigerians and Obedience to like and share, so that we continue to sustain this very news that we keep bringing every single day. So let's get this started. Before we get to the people, our well-meaning Nigerians on Zoom, let's start this discussion with Prince Otto here at the studio. Of course, we have seen the New York Times header across all the platforms. The discussion is everywhere, and this is the first time in recent years that we have seen that Nigeria is making headline news, especially with New York Times.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kanu. You see, that report on New York Times is a very hard hit on the reality of the Nigerian situation today, especially as regards economy. It gave a clear representation of what is going on. I would say that they did not spare words in describing the current situation in the state, and it's a very massive blow to the Nigerian government, because a New York Times is a widely read newspaper, read in many nations of the world. Elites are reading it, so many persons are reading it, so it gives a perspective of what the present administration is doing. It gives a perspective of how the government is treating the citizens, and it does not, it's not something that is supposed to sit well with the present administration. But
it seems it's sitting well with them, because their response, instead of trying to do something better and trying to improve on the economy that is failing, they continue to work. Let's even take, a reaction from what His Excellency P2B tweeted that is actually causing panic from them at the Aso Rock Villa, and of course getting several of them very, very twisted at this very time. Let's start. This is in quote from P2B on tweet. He said, at a time when our country is trending on the global media for facing its worst economic crisis marked by high inflation, a falling currency, widespread poverty, and the government plan to buy new presidential jets demonstrates extreme insensitivity to that. It is a struggle with rising insecurity, poverty, hunger, and homelessness. This decision highlights the disconnect between the government and the people. It is unacceptable and demands a more compassionate use of resources, prioritizing citizens' welfare. It's on record that our presidential jets have an average age of 12 years, purchased when most Nigerians could afford basic necessities. Now, as our country faces significant challenges, including a high debt profile, our citizens are in even greater need. Instead of adding to our luxuries, we should be focused on alleviating their suffering and finding solutions to their problems. For long, our bad leadership has made our priorities as leaders to be at variance to the needs of society, which is why we are headed now south as a nation. To elucidate further, despite dropping down to the fourth largest economy in Africa with a GDP of 252 billion and a per capita income of about $1,080 with huge debt burdens and borrowing to service debts. Yet, we are spending 15 million US dollars for our vice president's residence. Why the USA, the world's largest economy, with a GDP of 25 trillion, about 100 times our GDP, and a per capita income of 80,000 US dollars, about 80 times ours, still houses their vice president in #1 observatory cycle, a house built over 100 years, and whose value is obviously less than 15 million US dollars. Our VP's residence, a reputable real estate company, actually reports that the US Vice President official residence is valued as about 7.5 million today. These are dollars. While we had earlier refurbished the old VP residence with $2 million, the over 100 years old US Vice President's house has only undergone wide-scale renovation twice, funded by taxpayers' money in 1993. And in 2021, every new US VP is free to finance any major refurbishing from his personal funds. It is therefore time to stop this impunity, insecurity, and the shamelessness and refocus on the needs of our people. We must prioritize education, health care, lifting our citizens out of poverty. Let us work together to build a nation that truly serves its people, not just the interest of the few. Let's rise to the challenge and build this new Nigeria, which is now more possible than ever before. Signed, Peter Obi. Well, we have seen it. We've had. Now, Donald Dumps, I keep going on, Well, I don't know what more to describe further what His Excellency Peter Obi has, elucidated in this very particular tweet of his, but it carries so much weight on it. And it's sending a message. And I hope that these people at the villa have ears, because this is just giving you statistics of the wastage that is happening. But let's talk more. Divine, on the issue of the New York Times. The tag on the New York Times is, is talking about a resourceful nation buckles. It's shocking.
All right.
If the New Yorker, this is not written by a Nigerian. This is not written by, it's written by people who are outside of Nigeria, but saying this is a resourceful nation. But it has buckled under Chief Bola Tinubu by their assessment. What is your take on this very particular New York Times header? This is a front page news.
Well, I think once again, Nigeria is, trending on the international media for the very wrong reasons. And it is just very sad because this is coming from, a very reputable media house. Like, rightly said, it is, a newspaper of repute. A lot of people get to actually get the happenings around the world from this New York Times. And it is sad that Nigeria is being portrayed in this light. And it's actually true, right? Because this is the situation of what it is in the country. And it's sad because these are the group of people who claim that they want to attract foreign investors. And if your nation is being painted in this light to, outsiders, how much foreign investment do you aim to achieve, or rather aim to attract with this kind of reputation outside? So I think it's very sad, but it is also very timely because we keep saying it, within our Jerusalem here and talking to the government, but they don't seem to actually be doing anything different. Maybe we're going to get a different response now that the image of Nigeria is at stake, right? So it's a very daunting report, but it truly and deeply represents what it is that is going on in the country.
Okay, let's get to our people quickly on Zoom due to the time factor. Tinubu inherited a dead economy, but we also recall that Tinubu is the person who said he's going to continue from where Buhari stopped. So let's get our people. I welcome you all to this today's edition of a discussion centered on international publicity on Nigeria that is very, very appalling, especially when they tagged it, the tag that was given to it. So we have several well-meaning Nigerians and Obedience on Zoom. And let's start with, as usual, Lord Kingsley, who is joining us on Zoom, and several others. But let's get the views. So, Lord Kingsley, welcome to today's edition of our Hope Alive program. Please, what are your take? I guess by now you would have heard all what His Excellency P2B said, and probably read the article from the New York Times. Can you tell us your take and your own opinion on this?
Yes, good evening, fellow Nigerians, and good evening, everyone on the studio and my fellow Zoom participants. I don't know why we are a bit worried about what is actually going on right now, because Tinubu himself, he said he's going to continue from where Buhari stopped. He has actually kept to that promise. This is a man that actually doesn't have the feelings of his fellow Nigerians. This is somebody that actually bought his way into office. This is somebody that bribed his way into everything that he has done in life. We all heard about his certification and how you went to Chicago and all this kind of things. None of them actually came out to be true. But then he fought and bought his way into office. Now all these things are happening. The economy of Nigeria is collapsing. On the hour, everything is collapsing. What do we expect? A lot of people that campaigned for him are beginning about, Tinubu built Lagos, Tinubu did this, Tinubu did that in Lagos, did that. I mean, what is he actually doing right now? Is it a case of dementia or whatever it is? I don't understand. Now, let's go back to the issue on ground. PO actually came up with this tweet today, and it has gone viral. It has gone viral. What was he saying? That the economy of Nigeria, is a shambles right now. The New York Times has picked this up as well. I'm not 100% about what the New York Times is actually saying, because they're all in the same circle of fraud. because they know what was happening. They should have said something before he got into office. They should have published a lot of things before he got into office, but they kept it behind. They had everything behind. Nobody said nothing. The FBI had files. The FBI had files on Tinubu, which up to today, they never released. But they promised to bring this out just as a blackmail the other day, and Tinubu fell for all what they were requesting. I'm sorry about that. I've got a bit of a husky voice. So Tinubu fell for all what they were requesting, withdrew the case for Binance, and I mean, what are we experiencing right now? I mean, none of them have regards for Nigeria anymore. Even our fellow African countries, they have no regards for Nigeria anymore. But we're still carrying the name Giant of Africa, Giant of Africa. Okay, now, what actually made PO react to this message from the Times is exactly what we discussed, I think about 3 days or 4 days ago, that they have now gone again to borrow another $2.2. They're going to borrow this amount of money again. And what are they going to do with it? Now we are hearing they want to go buy 2 private jets. They want to renovate the vice president's office with 40 billion naira. I mean, 40 billion naira, that's equivalent to almost like 27 million pounds. I mean, $1 million. That's equivalent to almost $27 million. And whereas the United States of America, the center of democracy, the vice president's house, I mean, they renovate it once, maybe every 10 years or 8 years, depending on the tenure. They do not spend more than $2 million. But the Nigeria one, where the citizens of the country are suffering, they cannot afford to pay minimum wage. They cannot afford to pay, workers for what they have done in a month. They want to renovate one person's house, official office, for $40 billion. 40 billion naira. And how are we sure that they actually want to spend all that money to renovate the place? Because he's going to be there maybe for the next 4 years, and then somebody else will come again and say, oh, he wants to renovate the office again. That's the trend. They steal the money for the country. That's what they always do. They will renovate the president, the president, and all. Everybody around it. They want to renovate the office, all because they want to tap their hands, national cake, into the national funds. That is what this is all about. So, if this is what they are doing with the funds they are borrowing, why are the World Bank, all these international bodies still giving Nigeria money? Why are they still doing it? I think it's about time we wake up and let us understand that all this money they are borrowing to these governments, if the government cannot pay them before they leave office, that is going to be written off. It will be written off. That is what we should be doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lord Chelsea. Right there. Before we get to
who is reporting from Cross River State, Calabar Municipal precisely, joining us on Zoom. Kini, please, what do you have to say about this a resourceful nation buckles under Tinubu's administration? A grand header in New York Times. That is very, very sounding. And when you go through this very story, you will actually cry for Nigeria, and we'll get to that in a moment. So what's your reaction on this, please?
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Kanu, and member of the studio panel, and also Obedience and every listener across the world. Even though your volume was a bit low at some points, but reacting to the New York Times report. That report is very accurate, though it's late coming, just like Lord K earlier stated. This is the report that ought to have come earlier than now. What is the intent of this report now? We are already aware of all these things that they are publishing. I figure out they are trying to blackmail Chief Tinubu and his gang. So what? Because we already know what the situation is in this country and how wasteful this government have been, even the previous government. So it has gone on that trajectory up till this moment. And Nigeria issue is pathetic. And we are only hoping that we will not go down the deepest part of the pit. Our duty is to let Nigerians to know some of the things that are going on in this country through this medium. And we do believe that Nigerians will rise up and do something and take their nation back. Pio's report is very apt. He has always been consistent in his report. And if you have been following his the trajectory of his report, he's been very vocal, consistent. I mean, calling out the wastefulness of this government in the way they are going about governance, and that is not reflecting the need of the people. They are going on expenditure that is not impacting on the life of the common Nigerians, but rather encouraging the wastefulness of the leaders, those in government. So this is not very new to us. And my take is also, how come a nation that is borrowing so much and doesn't have the capacity to pay back keeps borrowing? The creditor is still giving them that credit. You and I know that in Nigeria, no bank will give you money you have capacity to pay back. Talk less of having cumulative debt profile. You would have been blacklisted as on the credit rating. But here we see the foreign Western countries keep borrowing Nigerian money because they have their own interest. They have their own plans. Their plans is to ensure that Nigeria sinks, because if you keep borrowing somebody money and you don't even see what they are using the money for, next moment it comes back and you keep borrowing, you are not helping that nation. Only God knows how we are going to pay these debts, because even our children will be bequeathing these debts for them. So the scripture says a good father leaves an inheritance for his children. But here we are leaving debts for our children and our children's children. So we Nigerians, I'm going to call on Nigerians that it's time we rise up, we wake up from our slumber and take back our nation. Thank you.
Calabar Municipal. Let's take from Elder Obode, who has always been very, very vocal. The last time he was with us, he was very, very angry with this government, and had to calm him down. But today we are facing another global media worst, counter from the government and all of that. So Elder Obode, do you agree that a resourceful nation has buckled under Chief Bola Tinubu's administration?
Right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you for listening in. what take do I? The government at present, are they the people's government? No. Tinubu bought the government of Nigeria with a drug. So, businessman, so he cares about what happens in Nigeria. All he cares about is how to keep his position, and if he has to keep paying for it, he's going to keep putting his hands into the Nigerian coffers and keep paying for whatever. He's never been a leader. It's not a leader for a start. He has nothing. He doesn't have any skills, to lead Nigeria forward. And I'm surprised, that we are surprised about Tinubu and his cohorts. I'm not surprised. His Excellency Peter Obi, predicted this a long time ago. But we're busy fighting about ethnicity, religion, and stuff like that, which are not beneficial to the black man. Now what's it called? The chicken has come home. Everything is upside down in Nigeria. People are hungry. Body is hungry. The vice president wants to build himself 54 billion naira house. How many people live in that house? Even in the house, you wouldn't have more than one room. You cannot sleep in more than one bed at a time. You cannot, whatever facilities you have in that house, you cannot use all the facilities in that house at the same time. So, but you look at the population of Nigeria, most of them are very hungry now. Why are people, desperate? Because the economy is messed up. The economy is messed up, and we are expecting somebody to rebuild the economy, but he said he was going to continue from where Mr. Buhari left off. Well, I'm calling him Mr. Buhari because it's not a Mr. anyway. But point, where do we as Nigerians, pick up and say to ourselves, we are not going to take this anymore. We are not going to believe in this religious rubbish. We are not going to believe in all this rubbish about ethnicity, that we want somebody competent to lead us, people competent to lead our country. What are we doing? Why are we still sitting down? Oh, okay, we are not that educated, because what they did was to try and keep everybody down. You can see in the North, all these children, they're all, reading the Quran. They never read anything else. So they don't have any information about anything else, how they can, improve their lives. And they don't have any information on how to tackle their leaders, in this Quranic environment. So what can they do? Right. Not a lot. So we need to get up. We need to get up. We need to get up. We need to get up.
All right.
We need to get up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, of course, up we are getting, and that is this thing. So I'll be coming back to Zoom shortly to talk to Raymond and Mr. Tony joining us all the way from Enugu. But before we come back to Zoom, let's quickly come back to the studio. Because we have to, get the thoughts of our own people right here, based on what is really going on. Before I went to Zoom, we were talking about what the meaning, the trending of Nigerian on a global stage that is the wrong move, and how it affects investors Guys, I want you to look at it from the perspective of investors who see that the Nigerian economy has buckled under Tinubu and may never wish to have any interaction as far as investment in Nigeria is concerned. Because some people just look at this as a write-up from New York Times, but they don't look at it from the other perspective of what investors see in New York Times.
Okay, yes, thank you. You know, I would advise everybody viewing this to also lay hold on that report and actually read it, because when you read it, you see where the writer dedicated time to talk about the Nigerians who source their fuel, they source their light, they provide light for themselves, they provide water for themselves. I mean, the practical basic amenities that the government is supposed to be providing, Nigerians provided for them. And then when they made this analogy, they went to say that now that the source of income through which these citizens provide those things for themselves has been threatened. So which means that the possibility of even having that is reducing. So that is also economy, and that also impacts on investment. So when an investor, of course, is going to impact our investment negatively. Generally, investors are not going to be encouraged to, you know, come and do business in Nigeria again, given the present economic situation. We are seeing reports of various international companies pulling out of Nigeria on a daily basis. So it's obviously going to impact us negatively. That is basically the truth of the matter. Things are going to get hard. If we're supposed to have 100 investors, we may end up getting like 10 or 20.
Well, we're not even getting any at all.
That is it.
I don't see any coming around here.
Yes.
We can only see patches of investors who...
That's something we have to protect.
It's okay. It's okay. Let's take a little bit of a break and watch what is happening in the community at the local areas where Nigerians lament heavily. Like every household in Nigeria prays such kind of prayers that you are about to watch on the screen right now. We find this really intriguing, and we feel like we have to share it across, because that's the kind of prayer that Nigerians are praying for Chief Bola Tinubu on a daily basis. Whether these very prayers is manifesting is yet to be seen. But like this one that we find, he said, it's not just a prayer for Chief Bola Tinubu, rather a prayer for his children and his children's children. Let's take a listen to this and probably see how, whether it's, go to the comment section and tell us how it will be. When we do come back, I'll bring you the comments of people on Zoom and also the comments of people who are also on the platform. Let's take a listen.
Senate President and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our fallen president. People are going through a lot. The poor people are suffering. I know you don't feel the pains of the poor. I know you don't feel anything about the poor. Nothing concerns you about what the poor people are going through, because your heart is as dark as charcoal. You are like a vulture looking for a dead body to devour. I know you don't feel the poor people pains. I wonder how the poor people keep quiet. They refuse to say something. They refuse to pour out their agony. Everybody is keeping quiet, enjoying the hardship that Tinubu has brought to us. I'm not going to enjoy it because I don't have. That is why I will speak out. I will use the small money I have to buy data to speak out. We are suffering. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I know you don't have heart. Your heart is as dark as charcoal, but I will still say something. And my prayer is, your children will face what you put us through. Your children will suffer it. You think you have escaped, but our prayer is, your children calamity will fall upon them. Distraction will fall upon your children. God will hit your children with a bigger problem that is way higher than what the poor people are going through. Disaster will fall upon your children. They will suffer. The kind of disaster that will fall upon your children, even the best hospital in abroad cannot be able to save your children. God will punish you, punish your children, because we the poor are going through a lot. We can no longer afford food in the market anymore. God will punish you, punish your children. If I say God will punish you, you are older. Very soon you will die. So it is your children that my prayer is going to. Disaster will fall upon your children. The kind of disaster that will fall upon your children, even the doctors will not be able to save your children. Your lineage will perish by the grace of God, except God did not answer. God did not answer always. God do not want to answer the prayers of a poor person. As long as God lives and God answered prayers, your children will face calamity by the grace of God.
This one, as he dey hot, as he dey hot. Kai, you see this para with this kind prayer. I don't know whether God they listen to this kind prayer, Sha, but all the same, the prayer, Sha, is he hot. Cause me, I know if you pray this kind prayer for somebody, but you know, say now from you. Anyway, we let's get our peaceful peace joining us once again. Peace, you don't hear as she they take hammer, and you know, say now your people. Your people, they don't begin to hit balls everywhere. They hit Tinubu, and you see America people where they don't publish their own big grammar for there, but the same thing that they talk say Niger people they suffer. But this prayer where this woman they pray, how you think you think say this prayer, many other families they do that same prayer. That thing they touch Tinubu and you know they touch them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kanu. I must be very honest here. The English people, they say so. Power corrupts, power they corrupt. And Tinubu's abuse of power don't bring so many things. And seeing this woman's video alone, they break my heart. Seriously, it's heartbreaking. Because it takes someone with their heartbroken to come out. Because it's not easy to carry your phone, they make video now, make people they see you.
You know, say she talk, say, even as she no get money, say she get the one way she go take put data. Say that data, make people for hear her own voice. Say, if not for anything, make people for hear wetin she won't talk.
Exactly. So the pain is so real. Even me where they hear she they talk the thing they come from a place of indignation to show you say so this thing don't touch these people for body because the power too much. Even say so she come on social media they swear for the man to tell you say true this woman they pass through a lot. The shege banza alone self now you drag am I been at the hunger I been at the scarcity of things or the high price of goods in the market. I be waiting she never see. She don't see life already because now that thing feel make am come out. Now they talk all these things. And now coming back to what you ask me say whether the cause feel reach Tinubu. So we don't they see all these cases. People don't delay cause even right from Abasha own to Buhari own they don't and they are doing well for themselves. Me I not believe say there's anything like us or anything like what did they call it again? You know fit touch am you know fit touch am. The only thing where I see here because Nigeria now we be our own problem. First off, make I explain and give you like this because during the election now these people will come. They go come the hot food. People go they pass through tough time. People no go see food shop. They go come weaponize food. You go see people. They go tell you say food no day. But person they so well for in house. Can't get millions of food. You go say millions pack money somewhere. Can't get food where you come hot. You go say wetin dey happen. You go come they say you they ball you they shine. But nothing they show. But somebody don't pass during election they go come bring them out. You go see these people when no go school. They go come they buy their votes. Then they tell them say go online go they criticize
but you no go too blame them. You
now
see
that hunger so
yeah, thank you.
But wetin me I want to be say we can get this thing right. Not be by cursing because the deed is already done. Who elect am? Not be still us. Who elect am? Who
no be us elect.
No be us. But that's now it has.
He said that he ran with it and he grabbed it and he ran with it.
And he ran with it. But wait here they talk say we can do better next coming election where they come. May we vote the right people into it because we can't keep doing the same thing and expect result. We can't keep coming online to lay curses, to lay abuses and expect things to change. But regards to Tinubu, the man self no get conscience. Already in don they do wetin they do. Whether we still talk from now till tomorrow, So we know say nothing go come out of it. But wetin me I believe say the evil wey men dey do, we live after them.
But this time around, be like say they live with them. You know, go after them. No be when they don't come out. Wetin consign them again. They say the evil that men do lives with them. Nah. Wetin you think before we go meet our people for Zoom? Within 1 minute.
Well, I just understand that she's coming, like, you know, that video was coming from a place of pain, because sincerely, there's nobody in Nigeria currently, unless you belong to the class of people that are inflicting these injuries on Nigeria, on Nigerians rather, that are not feeling, you know, the pain of this, you know, current administration. It is particularly sad, and I understand her. And, you know, kudos to her, because it takes a lot of courage to actually come online to, you know, lend your voice to a cause that many Nigerians are facing. A lot of people are going to be scared of, you know, being victimized. But she came out to say, you know what, if I perish, I perish. I'll just let my voice be heard. So kudos to her, and hopefully this government hears us and makes life a bit easier on Nigerians.
Yes, so Tinubu, everybody is calling you, and I believe that every household is in their prayers on each day. They'll continue to do the same, either by praying positively or negatively. So like they all said, whether that works against you or not, but you need to hearken to the cry of the masses whom are looking up to you. That is talking to Chief Bola Tinubu directly. Now let's get back to Zoom. Please, I have 1 minute on each. Let's get the opinion of Mr. Tony, all the way from Enugu, joining us. Tony, can you please unmute and you know, tell us your take on this very things coming out, one from the New York Times newspaper, and also the prayers going out in every household in Nigeria. What are our options?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, Tony.
You know what they say, elections have consequences.
Yes.
The thing that actually shoots up my blood pressure is to hear people say Chief Tinubu won the election.
He didn't.
Despite the fact that they know exactly what happened. He bought his way, he rigged his way, and people are not ashamed to qualify he won the election by saying it was rigged. Are they afraid to say it? We all know what happened. Now, the New York Times story also, I think I read a portion of it that says, that shows a man carrying a woman on his back, could be his wife or sister, at the hospital. What was the woman's sickness? I think there's a name they call it. And that sickness is caused by hunger, as a result of hunger. Now, let me give you an example here. 2 days ago, this guy called me, a civil servant. He was complaining that his daughter was sick, and he took him to the hospital. After a couple of days, like 3 days, he had to take her back home because he could not afford the hospital bill. Again, the next day I spoke to him. He said the wife has fallen sick again. Not only the wife, the mother and the father, they are all sick in the same house.
In the same house.
In the same house.
Yeah.
And the guy said he has nothing left in him to buy drugs. Even 1,000 naira he doesn't have to buy drugs. And later on, unknowingly, he called me back. He was supposed to call somebody else, but my phone rang. I picked it up. It was him. And I could hear in the background, I was saying hello, hello. But I was hearing in the background, he was directing somebody to pick up his generator to sell.
To sell, yes.
So that you can make some money to buy drugs. This is how bad it is in this country. It is awfully bad. And when His Excellency P2B is screaming, where are the rest of the elite in this country? What are they saying? They all are keeping quiet. He is the lonely voice in the wilderness, screaming, telling people how it is. Now the presidency can attack New York Times, but that is not going to help the situation. People need help, and they need it right now. When he was planning how to rig the election, he wasn't planning how to execute his priorities, his plans. But I don't even think he had time to make plans. He's now accusing the previous regime, administration, of leaving them with bad economy. Sorry to say that.
Then why don't you fix it?
You never even said when that economy was being plumaged, being trampled upon. You never said anything. Now you're trying to blame them that they bequeathed you with a bad economy. Nonsense. You don't have a plan. They don't have a
Nonsense.
plan.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Tony.
It's appalling. It's all right.
Yeah, our time is
what can we do?
up. Thank you so much. What a touching story that we've gotten from Enugu. And given that our time is up, the only much more we can take is coming from Mary Okon, who is the president of the Obidient Family Cooperative Societies, Yala local government of Cross River State, who has been, moving around all the whole wards, the communities in the Yala local government of Cross River State, engaging obedience into their fold, and educating obedience and well-meaning Nigerians on the need to be in a very solid structure, and that she's doing very well. Mrs. Mary Okon has, had discussions with us in the past, and today is joining us to tell us more about her outreach and engagements and the number of well-meaning Nigerians who are joining their Obedient Family Cooperative in their local government. Mrs. Mary, welcome to Obedient Family TV on Hope Alive program. Please talk to us. TV on Hope Alive program. Please talk to us.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, house.
Good evening, Ms. Senator.
Yes, sir. By the grace of God, Obedient Family, Yala local governments, we are doing wonderfully well. And their cooperation over here is very, in fact, it's very encouraging because everyone loves obedience. They are tired. Everyone, all of them can't wait to see the new Nigeria because it's the reason why they decide to join this Obedient Family Cooperative. And we are not giving up. The people of Yala, we are not giving up. We are trusting God that come 2027, we are going to take back our mandate. The Obedient Family Cooperative was introduced to them and then all accepted because they are obedient from the beginning. And then now, by the grace of God, so far, we have gone well in our numbers. By the grace of God, because today we don't have any outreach. based on the market. The place we wanted to go, today is their market day. So we decided not to go today. It was cancelled, rescheduled till tomorrow. Presently on ground now, by the grace of God, we have 4,417 on ground by the grace of God. Obidient family. Those ones that have registered with us officially as the members of the cooperative, they are 4,417 by the grace of God. And this is their farming time. We have gone well in our account opening. We have opened our account and we have gotten our account number by the grace of God. The only thing that is remaining now, I think, is that by the grace of God, our account should be full so that the farmers, this is their season. And they are into farming, those that are farming groundnuts, rice, they are so much on it now. So, Obidient in Yala, we are doing well, and we are believing God that with your support, the Obidient national support or worldwide support, we will go far beyond this. Thank you, House, and God bless Obidient family.
All right, that is Mary Okon, and that is the president of the Obidient Family Cooperative Society in Yala. Mrs. Mary Okon, let me ask you, I see people on the screen who are waving their cards. Does that suppose that this is their membership cards?
Yes, sir.
So all the Obedients in Yala local government who are committed to this cooperative, they all have membership cards.
Sure, sir.
And this means also that you have a structure that goes not just on the local government level, but you also have chairmen or executives in the ward levels.
Yes, sir. We have our president in all the ward levels that are there and their ESCO members, not just the local government ESCOs. We have ESCOs like yesterday, the people that went for outreach are some of the ward ESCOs. When I was not that fit to move with them, I assigned them to do that, which they did. So the ward are well structured by the grace of God. All the wards, they have their ESCOs represented.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay.
What a girl.
Wonderful. Now, let me take this a little bit further, Lord K. Yesterday, we were having a conversation about, getting Obedience together in a in this, especially in Edo State. And as we can hear from Madam Mary Okon, it's very obvious that in Cross River State, especially at that Yala local government, should be able to mobilize people that has membership cards that are committed. And also yesterday, we have several discussions that says we want this happening in Yala local government to happen in Edo State so that the Apata, who is the governor in waiting for Edo State, will be able to, gather more support from the Obedients who seem to be divided in Edo State. My question to you, Lord Kingsley, is do you think that we could, or it could be replicated, what is happening at Yala right now could be replicated in the wards and the local government in Edo State to make sure that Apata comes first as the governor of Edo State?
Absolutely, yes. That's what we're practicing, and we want to bring into effect, because that's the only way we can actually have the Obedience in the cooperative known and registered. So whatever is happening in Yala right now and how it's been done is what we are replicating in Edo State. Thank you very much.
All right.
So, is it possible?
Yes. So
is
this
it possible?
Mary Okon, very quickly, please. I think, have you, what are the products that your members and already obedience with you in this cooperative society? Have you checked one by one with them what kind of businesses they do, whether they are farmers, what kind of crops are they farming, are they into livestock, and will they be needing some sort of support from the broader obedience, so that we see how we can be able to manage those numbers, about 4,000 plus. Those are very large numbers coming from very few wards in that local government.
Sir, all the wards, by the grace of God, I have their proposal already on ground, based on what they do in each axis. Because like Igede, some are into farming of fish, some are here, they are farmers into cassava, some have cassava of 6 months, some 1 year, and some of 4 months time. And there's some that are into granules, and this is all their season. And even when we were going about registering them, they were all appealing that they need a support to strengthen their farming work. And some of them are into business, Gary and this thing rice. Over here, they buy and resell, and the market is movable here. So there's even this cassava stem. Some are into it fully now, because now cassava stem is a hot cake. Like 20 sticks of cassava stem, you get it here like 4,000, 5,000 over here now. You understand? So a business of Gary, so many of them, they're here. We have the area that is only pepper and garden egg, and is movable. So all of them, they are appealing. They need funds to strengthen their farming work and some of their business. So like this season now, like the farmers, some like those rice farming, they need something like fertilizer and even fund as well. They all agreed, because I told them the difference between empowerment and grant, and which all of them agreed to the empowerment with joy and love. So they can't wait, in fact, to see the Obidient family coming to their end. They are doing well. People, they are hardworking people. If you come to business, they are in business. When they want to go into business, they meant it and going back, because I know the people I'm dealing with here. Both the young and the old, they are very hardworking over here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much bringing out that. I believe that a majority of the obedience and well-meaning Nigerians across the world have heard what you said. You need fertilizer, since it's the farming season for those over 4,000 members of the Obidient family located at Iyala local government, and also some funds for those people who are into different fish-related production and all of that. So, and you also said that you have a proposal on these things. And now put them all together, and let's on each day also we will be looking at the account, the cooperative account information, so that we can display it for well-meaning Nigerians to actually send and support you guys, like the one that is on the screen. But this one is the one that we are using for now to support the people who are still doing registrations. So for those of you who wish to support the registration of other local governments with their state government, so please, of course, you can, no amount is too small. You can support us to do those registrations. But for that one of Mrs. Mary, we expect your furniture, so that we can also display the account number of the Obidient Family Cooperative for Yala local government, especially for people to help you guys with fertilizer and other things that you have mentioned here. And of course, until tomorrow, we'll continue to bring this very thing up. So thank you very much, Mary, for bringing all of this up. That is as much as we can take. Our time has really gone, and it's giving us signal make we carry our come out for studio. I be no be so the peaceful peace. Yeah, so until tomorrow when we come your way again, bye for now.